Hello folks, hope you're all well, and I do mean that as last while. I hope yous are all well, or at least on the mend. Anyway, enough of that soppiness. You came here to see me shoot something, so while you watch me set out my decoy and bait, I'll start explaining the situation. Now, for those of you who remembered the last time I was here, I shot 4 hooded crows, using my FAC FX Crown and 22 caliber, using JSB 25 grain, not caliber 25 grain, Monster redesigned pellets, I think they were. And they proved quite successful, good knockdown power, but the accuracy wasn't very good after 45 to 50 yards. This time I have the H&N 21 grain Slugs with me in .218. Now these are what's left of the H&N sampler pack I was testing through the summer, so I only have about a magazine full of them, but I wanted to come this morning and test them in live quarry. Now I was hoping to get more of these now that I've found ones that actually work with my crown, and did put a order in with a local gun shop some weeks ago, but unfortunately nothing's turned up yet, so we're just gonna have to work with what I have. Now of course the rifle I'm using is my FAC .22 caliber FX Crown. The scope is a Bushnell Elite Tactical 2.5 to 16 by 42 with a side shot scope mount and a Firefly SE8 action camera with 90-degree lens. Now the first bird to take interest actually wasn't a crow, it was a bird of prey called a common buzzard, which are fully protected in the UK, but it decided to perch up on a tree some 200 yards away anyhow. Now the second bird that flew by actually was a hooded crow, which I think circled out round behind me before coming back into land. My bait and decoy are set out at 40 yards. You might say that's a bit close to be testing slugs, but I'm here to control vermin, not give them a sporting chance. So, why shoot the crows, you may ask? Well, the farmer recently showed me a Dorset ewe he has with its 3 lovely little lambs, which with others will be let out into the fields fairly soon, so I want to control as many hooded crows and magpies as I can before that. And now that I've mentioned the magpies, look what's turned up. The slug seemed to pass right through, and he's done. Although this bird didn't land, I thought it was going to fly straight into the hide, so it must be doing its job. But it wasn't long until another magpie did land. Now I usually leave the magpies alone when I'm after hooded crows, as they do act as a good decoy to help bring the crows down. But since there was so little crow activity in the area, I decided to switch my attention to the magpies. That bird was stone dead, no movement at all this time. A few minutes later, and yet another magpie lands. They all seem to be coming in ones for some reason. Oh, did I miss? Nope, the bird flew about 20 yards to my right, settled in the grass, and keeled over dead. Bit of an oddity that one, but it's accounted for. And before I even had time to settle back into my seat, yet another magpie landed. I put the slug between its shoulder blades, which dropped it like a stone. You can even see a wee puff of black feathers, which is something I don't usually see with a pellet. A bit more time passed, and yes, you guessed it, yet another magpie turned up. It's almost if they're drawing straws to see who's next. But it was its lucky day, because I decided to let it go, hoping that the activity in my decoy pattern might attract another hooded crow. It was very quickly joined by some of its mates, which seemed to think it was a free-for-all now. One of which decided to have a go at the rabbit bait I had. A very brave soul indeed, because it was absolutely stinking. It had been in the fridge far too long, and it was even still frozen solid this morning when I set it out. And people wonder why I don't eat the magpies or crows I should. I finally did attract another hooded crow, which hovered overhead briefly, only to see the decoy pattern and very quickly head the other direction. Dead birds usually don't put them off, but this one maybe had seen this setup before. So, when another magpie landed, I decided to switch my attention back to them. Only for it to have a Matrix moment and dodge the slug.
Bloody scare.
But it wasn't long before another one turned up. There really is something to say about the phrase safety in numbers, as it's supposed to confuse predators, and when you're presented with more than one target, yeah, I can see how that affects things, because your attention seems to be divided between 3 or 4 different birds, and you're all going, which one's closest, which one's easiest shot, presenting you the best target. That, and I was trying to make sure that the camouflage net didn't fall down in front of the front scope lens and ruin the scope cam footage as it did the last time. But I finally settled myself onto a good target and took the shot. Now, while this was all going on, I noticed 2 birds sitting in a tall tree away in the distance. The one on the left is a rook and the one on the right is a hooded crow. So with the possibility of maybe getting another shot at a hooded crow, I decided to let the magpies do their thing. Now, I'm sure there's some of you out there who are furiously typing or shouting at their screen that I'm not shooting the magpies sitting directly in front of me. But to tell you the truth, I find it quite entertaining to watch them flit and cackle about the place. But anyway, it wasn't meant to be, and the hooded crow decided not to come anywhere near me, so again I switched my attention back to the magpies. But unfortunately the Firefly SE had run out of battery, so I had to go old school and switch back to just using the camera on the tripod. A bit of a flapper, but he's done. So, at that, both me and the magpies had had enough, so I called it quits. Okay, let's see how we done. I'm not sure actually how many I've got so far. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 magpies, a hooded crow, and there's a magpie over there if I can zoom in. There we are. That I hit and flew 20 yards and I actually thought I'd missed it until it landed there and just keeled over dead in the grass. But we'll look at the ones we have here first. The hooded crow, that was hitting the side. Might be an impact there. Don't know. Don't really see much. Maybe an exit. Aye, that's an exit there. But it keeled over dead. Good clean shot. Let's see these magpies. I'm not sure where I hit this one. Some of them were shot in the side, some were shot in the chest, and some were shot in the back. Which is which, I do not know. That's might have been in the back. Well, seems to be messy there, a wee bit messier in the pellet. Shot in the front, in the chest. Again, if I can keep it on camera, I think I'll be able to do this all now. Yeah, it's a wee bit messier than actually. Not sure as it exit. Can't see anything on that one. That's the last bird I shot. Obviously another frontal chest shot, I think. Well, there's a hole there somewhere. But anyway. It does seem to be a wee bit more damage with some of them, with the slugs. I'm using the 21 grain H&N slugs, and they definitely do put them down. I set up for the day. A very stinky rabbit has been in the fridge too long, but it seemed to do the job today. And a dead crow I shot elsewhere, set up in a little wire cradle I have. Not many crows today. I seen another one knocking about way in the distance, but it didn't come near me. Otherwise I could have shot a few more magpies, but I was sort of holding fire, hoping that I would get another chance at a hooded crow. We'll go and have a look at the one over here. Now, this bird I struck, I'm pretty sure it was a side-on shot. I do see evidence of a stripe. It's maybe a wee bit low. There's a mess of stuff there. But he got up. I thought he'd missed him, and he flew about 20 yards, landed here, and then keeled over in the grass. So, a bit of an oddity. Whether it was a bad shot or just a slug penciled through him and he gave him enough juice to get this distance before dropping dead. But he's accounted for anyway. So that wasn't a bad morning. And the farmer seems to be quite happy because I texted him. My hide was sitting there with what little of the hedges left after the hedge cutter, but it done the job anyway. A quick tidy up before I go, and I'll keep a few of the birds to use as decoys, and the rest of them I'll put in a thick hedge somewhere for the foxes and badgers to have. Well, it wasn't too bad a morning. Not the result I was hoping for, as I was hoping to get a few more hooded crows, but beggars can't be choosers. And hopefully before long I'll be able to get a few tins of the H&N 21 grain slugs. But anyway folks, take care of yourselves, hey.